Now, I want to ask you, how many of you have heard about Tony Campolo? Put up your hand. Yeah, okay. Do you know him personally? No. If you know, I would like to know you so that you can. He's a good man, a great man. He is an American sociologist, pastor, author, and also some of you may not know, he is a spiritual advisor to the former president of America, Bill Clinton. All right. So one day he shared this true story about one day when after giving a lecture to the students, there was one student who came up to him and asked him point blank this question. The student asked him and said this to him, very interestingly, "Doctor," that's Dr. Tony Campolo, "you seems like a reasonable man. How can you, with your sophistication, really believe the Bible?" Campolo replied with this word. "It's easy," he said. "I decided to. And I have to explain," he said. "Once I decided I believe in it, I spent the next 35 years of my life accumulating arguments to support what I already believed. But reason only came in afterwards. It only supported what I already committed myself to. Now, before you get nasty with me," Tony Campolo says to the student, "I have got to ask you a question in turn. Why don't you believe the Bible? Isn't it because you decided not to? Please, don't tell me that you have read it from cover to cover. Spare me that. And don't give me that zest that is full of contradictions because you can't name 5 if I ask you to name. Somewhere along the line, you decided not to believe, and after you have decided not to believe, you begin accumulating to support your commitment to non-belief." The kid looked at Campolo and said, "You don't understand. For me to believe in God, I have to have a God that I can understand." And Campolo replied, "God refuses to be that small. Now here's the deal. If your God was small enough to understand, He is too small to worship. We serve a God who goes beyond anything we can understand or explain. We have a God who can accomplish way more than we can even begin to imagine in our minds. We begin to boldly proclaim that our God can do exactly what He says He can do. And so doing, we make the world jealous of the one in whom we have our faith." And so, friends, this is the attitude as we reflect on the 7+1 sign of Jesus in the Gospel of John. We cannot explain everything, but we must have a mindset that is big enough to trust that God is beyond our comprehension and a God who is able to do things that sometimes seems not possible. For the last 50 years, this particular sign or miracle, feeding of the 5,000, has been interpreted by very liberal so-called theologian that is nothing more than peer pressure. Meaning to say is that in the first place, the 5,000 men, excluding the women and children, they came together to listen, not so much to learn about Jesus. They were thrilled by the signs, the previous signs. Now there's the 4th sign. Previous 3 signs, probably they have seen how Jesus has performed miracles. So they came with that thrill, with that attitude to Jesus. And so then here, they were not expecting a miracle. They came together in the expectation that, another miracles can be performed so that they can see. And in the gospel, in John chapter 6, verse 14, the scripture tells us that Jesus actually, after the people saw the miraculous sign Jesus performed, meaning to say is that this is a sign that is performed by Jesus. In the last 50 years, and that's why Christianity has taken a dip, when we refuse to understand that our God is God and let God be God. And so it became popular because it's so logical. It didn't have to explain the miracle. That the people come together, they hid food under their tunic, under their clothes. They were all selfish beings. And so when Jesus when the time for people to eat, and this little boy offered that little, it shamed everybody. So everybody took out their food. And suddenly there was so much to eat, and even 12 baskets full was not enough to accumulate.